when we hit the 50,000 subscriber mark. So I've just gone live on YouTube. Hello, everybody. Darren Alf here from bicycletouringpro.com. I'm live because we're about to hit the 50,000 subscriber mark here on the Bicycle Touring Pro YouTube channel. I'm trying to pull up the number here at the moment. I have a live counter. We're only 4 people away now. 4 subscribers away. We're at 49,996 people subscribed to the Bicycle Touring Pro YouTube channel. I have had my YouTube channel for a very, very long time. I think since 2007. So 50,000 subscribers is maybe not a lot. But I've really only started working on my YouTube channel in the last 3 years or so, maybe almost 4 years now. But in that time, I've published over 500 videos. I think I have like 525 videos or something up on the Bicycle Touring Pro YouTube channel. So there's tons and tons of videos up there, which is really, really cool. And I do realize that 50,000 is not a huge number when you compare it to a lot of the big YouTube channels that are out there. But bicycle touring is a fairly niche subject matter, and so it's pretty cool, for me at least, to have 50,000 subscribers. I do believe it's the largest bicycle touring channel on YouTube, and frankly, the best, right? Let me know what you think. I'm reading your guys' comments here. Josh, hello, says thank you for your inspiration. Michael says I can subscribe from my second channel or a second account. That would be cool, Michael. Hello from Finland, Kalle. I'm not sure if I'm saying your name right. But yeah, hello everybody. We're at 49,996 subscribers at the moment. We just need 4 more people. I'm trying to switch over to YouTube so that I can see your comments here really quick. 1 second. Yeah, okay, now we're at 49,997. So 3 more subscribers and we will be there. Pretty excited about it. Okay, here we go. I'm switching over to YouTube so that I can read comments that might be coming in on YouTube, because at the moment I can only see the Facebook comments. Hey, Michael. Michael Matthews says, hey, Darren, how's it going? It's going well. I'm back in California now for just a couple days. I just recently completed my 3-month-long bike tour across Europe. Okay, now I'm on YouTube and I'm looking at your comments here. Oops. Where did the comments go? Okay, there they are. Yeah. Hello from Klamath Falls, Eric. Congrats. It says, live your dreams. Barry says it's evening in the UK. Yep, just morning here, 9 o'clock in the morning here in the United States. Todd says hi from West Virginia. I think that's West Virginia. Elias says hello from Sweden. Daniel says, I've watched every video of yours. Thank you so much. You're amazing. That's really nice. Adam's Adventure says, good morning, Darren. Congrats on 50K. So yeah, we're just 3 people away, 3 subscribers away from the 50,000 mark. Someone says, I was just watching one of your videos. Hello from Thailand. Good evening from South Africa. Greetings from India. Very cool. Two people from India, Brazil, Sweden. Lots of Swedens here. That's cool. Enjoy watching your videos. Have used many of your tips on short bicycle tours in Europe. Congrats on the 50K. Thanks, guys. Okay, we're only 1 person away now. 1 person. Who's the next person going to be? If you have a friend, a family member, a coworker, a loved one that you think would like bicycle touring, or would maybe like to join you on a bicycle touring adventure in the future, please tell them about Bicycle Touring Pro's YouTube channel. Let's get that 50,000 subscriber right now. I'm looking at the screen. There's a live counter that I'm looking at on the Social Blade website, and that's what we're looking at right now. But Terry says hi from Scotland. I need to catch up on your travels. Real inspiration for us pedalers. Floria says hi from Eastern Europe, Romania. Cool. Lots of love from India. From Nicole says hello from Vancouver Island. Sam says, congrats on the 50K, extremely deserved. And we are just one person away from the 50,000 subscriber mark. So thank you guys, all 49,999 of you. We just need one more subscriber and then we're there. But yeah, what have I learned uploading 500 plus videos to YouTube? Well, one of the things that you might be surprised to know is that I didn't want to make videos for a very, very long time because I don't actually, how do I put this? I find it hard to be in front of the camera. And for a very, there we go, 50,000, woo! We're at 50,001 now. So yay, I'm doing a little celebration dance here. But what I was saying was that, yeah, for a very long time, I didn't really want to make videos because I didn't really like speaking in front of the camera or listening to myself talk. And that was very, very hard for me. So for a very long time, I just took photos. We're at 50,002 people now. Thank you. Yeah, so I really hesitated on making videos for a very long time, even though I started Bicycle Touring Pro, my website, back in 2007. And I did make some videos early on, but they were kind of short and really bad. You can go back and watch my original videos. They're really terrible. But in a way, I wish I had made more back then because it took me a while to kind of find my voice and figure out how I wanted to make the videos. And honestly, I'm still trying to figure out like how I want to make the videos in the future, because when you make 550 videos about the same subject matter, you have to keep improving and keep finding new ways to tell the story. Because in a way, bicycle touring is kind of the same thing over and over and over again, day after day. The difference, however, is where you are in the world, the people you meet on the road, the circumstances that you encounter along the way, how you are personally feeling, and all that sort of stuff. So I've been trying to show, I guess in my more recent videos, kind of more of the personal story behind bicycle touring rather than just the places. Because I think one of the things I learned early on making my videos is that like you can show, you know, a waterfall and a scenic mountainscape and some big blue skies or whatever, and that's interesting for about 3.5 seconds, but that generally doesn't hold people's attention for too long. So yeah, I've just been trying to make videos that are maybe more interesting to me personally, because I feel like, hey, if I'm interested in the subject matter, hopefully some of you are interested as well. And so that's why I've kind of been sharing stories recently in some of my recent videos about my recent cancer diagnosis or things that I don't like on my travels. That's another thing, another reason I didn't want to make videos early on is because there are times when you're bicycle touring and things aren't going your way, or you don't like where you particularly are at any given moment. And I didn't want to like candy coat every single one of my bike trips. I didn't want to be like, hey, I'm in Austria right now and it's the greatest place I've ever been. And then in the next video be like, hey, I'm in South Africa and it's the greatest place I've ever been. And then the next video be like, hey, I'm in Australia and it's the greatest place I've ever been. A lot of travel videos and stuff, I feel like, are like that, where it's like, this is the best food I've ever eaten. These are the most friendly people I've ever met. And the truth is, that's not the way travel works, at least not for me. And so I've tried to be very honest in my videos about like, hey, I'm feeling like shit today, you know, and I don't want to be out here on my bike, and I'm tired and I'm hungry and I want to go home. And I think some people have related to that and thanked me for that, because it shows what I believe is a little bit more honest interpretation of what bicycle touring is actually like. And the truth is, you can't love every place that you've been. There are a lot of places I've been on my travels where I thought, man, I got to get out of here. This is terrible, you know? But the truth is, every place that I've ever been on any of my bike tours in 18 years all around the world, I would go back to if I had the opportunity. I don't think there's any place that I've ever been where I was like, I will never come here ever again. It's just that some places I think are better than others. And so I've tried to show that in my videos and try to be honest about the places that I'm traveling through. So anyways, we are now officially up above 50,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. It was cool to kind of share the moment with you. We're at 50,004 subscribers. So they're rolling in now. My goal, which would be awesome, is to get up to 100,000 subscribers in the next year or so. It took me 10 years to get to 50,000 subscribers. And I'd like to get up to 100,000 subscribers in the next 1 year. And I think I can do it based on my current growth of the channel and based off of the videos that I have coming up. I've just recently completed a 3-month-long bike tour in Europe. So I spent about 2 months of that 3 months bicycle touring in Portugal, Spain, Poland, the Czech Republic, Austria, Slovakia, and Hungary. And I've shot a whole bunch of videos, which I am going to be working to edit today and over the next couple weeks. And so I have all of those videos from all of those adventures coming out soon on the Bicycle Touring Pro YouTube channel. And I really think you're going to like it. I think you're going to like these new videos because there's only about, I think, like 5 days on the whole trip where I'm alone. The rest of the time I'm traveling with other people. And I think that makes the videos interesting, more dynamic. You know, there's more personalities on the video. It's not just me talking to myself and the camera all the time, although I know some of you have said you actually like the videos where it's just me by myself. But I think the upcoming videos are going to be really interesting because I'm traveling with my friends Kevin and Lene and Michael and a whole bunch of other Bicycle Touring Pro readers I met out on the road and things like that. So it should be really, really interesting. And I have these videos coming up that I'm really looking forward to sharing with you. So I'm just looking at some of your comments here. Andrew says, congratulations, you've inspired me to start bicycle touring and maybe uploading my own videos of whatever. Someone asked, will you come again to Romania? And the answer is, I hope so. I really love Romania and I'd love to go back. Yeah, I'd like to go to Romania. Maybe even next year, we'll see. I'm currently in the process of planning my 2019 bicycle touring adventures and even the rest of my cycling for the rest of this year. I'm in the United States now, and I'm going to be bicycle touring in Colorado for sure, but I don't know where exactly I'm going to go after that. I kind of want to go up to Montana, like maybe Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Washington a little bit. I'd love to do some cycling up in those areas. So I don't know exactly yet. I'm currently in the process of planning some short trips up there, but that's what I'm going to be doing in the United States. And then I do have some international trips coming in 2019. I'm going to be doing a bike tour in Portugal again. I'm going to be doing another bike tour in France. I'm going to be in Poland again, and I have some other trips in the works, but I don't want to give them away just yet. Top secret, but I'll be announcing those soon, just as soon as I have the details sorted. And I'm also going to be doing some trips next year where you can join me on the trip. So it's not just going to be me cycling by myself. There are going to be some bike tours like the one I'm doing in France and Portugal where you can come with me. So there is a page on my Bicycle Touring Pro website. It's bicycletouringpro.com/calendar. If you go to that page, you can see all of the upcoming events that I have scheduled for Bicycle Touring Pro. Right now, there's just 2 events on there, and I'll be adding more in the near future. So make sure you check out that page on a regular basis to see all of the upcoming events that you are capable of joining me on. One of the things that I do as the Bicycle Touring Pro is help people to get out on their own bicycle touring adventures. And I'm turning this light on me here. And so like I do that through my videos that I post on YouTube. I'm not only like trying to share my trips, but I'm trying to inspire, well, I'm not really trying to inspire anyone. I'm hoping that people will watch the videos and think, hey, this is something that I want to do. And will then go back to my Bicycle Touring Pro website and get the information that they need to learn to conduct their own bicycle touring adventures anywhere in the world. So yeah, and so through my book, I have a book called The Bicycle Touring Blueprint, where I teach people how to bicycle tour. I have my other book, which is The Essential Guide to Touring Bicycles. This is the book that teaches you kind of all about the types of bikes that you can ride when you're bicycle touring, and how to set them up with racks and panniers and trailers and all that kind of stuff. I have other books I sell, like this one, the Bike Camp Cook. This is a book, I didn't write this book, but friends of mine wrote this book, and this is basically like a camping cookbook, all about how to cook out of a one-burner stove on a bicycle tour, and how to carry food, and which kind of foods that are good to carry on a bike tour, and recipes. It's filled with recipes. You can see here photos of the foods, recipes. You know, this is how to make a soy peanut cabbage slaw. You know, here's another one, afternoon snacks on a bike trip, and all that kind of stuff. So resources like that are on my website. I'm also working to update my Bicycle Touring Pro video training course, which you can learn about at bicycletouringpro.com/video. But I've already got a video training course that several people have gone through and have used to learn to conduct their own bike tours all around the world. But I'm going to be, over the next couple of months, adding some new videos to that course. And yeah, I really think that's going to be great. So I'm working on that. I'm looking at some of your questions here. Yeah, Michael says, don't want to be impolite, but what's on the chart board in the background? Are these plans for the new bike trip? Yeah, so back here behind me, if you can see that, on this door, I've created a calendar of the year. And yeah, all of that is like plans for the year and stuff. Some of those are months gone past, but some of them are months coming up. And yeah, that's where I plan out all my bike trips for the year on the board behind me. I'll maybe show that to you in closer detail in a future video, but that's what that is. Herbivore Nation says, I just uploaded the second video of my bike tour in Thailand. Have you been? No, I've never been to Thailand, actually, but it is a popular destination for travelers of all sorts, so I'd like to get there at some point. How many miles can we ride per day? That's a good question. How many miles can you ride per day? Well, you can ride a whole lot, but most people ride about like 40 to 60 miles in a single day. That may, you know, but I have an article on Bicycle Touring Pro that answers that question. So if you go to bicycletouringpro.com and just type in your question there, how many miles do I ride per day? There's a big article that actually talks all about that. So, and I also talk about that in my book, The Bicycle Touring Blueprint. Michael Gruba says, how did you like it there in Poland? That's a good question. So yeah, I've just spent the last month in a city called Poznan, Poland, and I was there working on Bicycle Touring Pro, kind of planning my future trips, and also working to edit some of the videos and stuff that I'm going to be releasing soon here on the Bicycle Touring Pro YouTube channel. And Poland was amazing. I've been there several times. I've probably spent about 6 months total in Poland. And I'd love to say that I am fluent in Poland, but I am certainly not. It's a very difficult language. I have a book right here, actually. This is a book I bought at a bookstore in Poland. And it says something like, my first, I don't know what this word is, Swozniak. But basically, it's like your first book about learning English. And so this was in the Polish children's section for kids 6 to 8 years old. And it's a photo book. I'm going to open it up so you can kind of see. But there's photos of things here like blanket, bed, pillow. And then it just has the word in Polish and it has the word in English underneath it. So this is a book that was designed for children that are Polish and that are trying to learn English. But I bought this book and it cost $6.50 or something like that. I bought this book and I'm using it in the other way. I'm using it to learn Polish. So it's a really, honestly, it's a really good book, and it has 1,000 words in it. And these are words too that like you might actually want to know as a child, basically. And that's how I think of myself when I'm learning a new language and traveling through a new country. It's like I am a very dumb child that does not speak the language and is trying to learn, you know? So like here, pine tree, hole, fisherman, like very, very basic words. And that's what I've struggled with when I was both in school and university and trying to learn languages on my own. Oftentimes the courses that are trying to teach you, like you start by learning like mother, father, and then all of a sudden you're learning like words like perpendicular or something in a foreign language. And it's like, I am never going to use the word perpendicular in Polish. I'm just not, you know, and it makes so much more sense to learn the word pillow, for example, because that's something that I might actually say in Polish. And I'm never going to say perpendicular. So that's why this book is really, really cool. And if I could find a book like this in every language that I wanted to learn, like Spanish and German and Russian or whatever, that would be really, really amazing. I'm going to try to find this book in different languages. But that was just my rant on foreign languages. Poland, how did I like it? Oh, gosh, I love Poland. People are so nice. That's the thing I really like about Poland is the people I've met there are really incredible. A lot of them speak such good English. So it's kind of nice that you can be immersed in the place and you know, you go to the supermarket and they don't necessarily speak English to you right away, but if they, you know, at a restaurant or something, they see that you are English or you speak English, they can usually accommodate you with an English menu or a waiter that speaks English or something like that. So that's kind of nice. But yeah, the thing I like most about Poland is just the people. The cities are really interesting. What else? The cycling there, honestly, I did this month-long trip around the Czech Republic, Austria, Slovakia, Hungary, and Poland. And Poland probably had the worst roads of all of those countries, honestly. And so from a cycling standpoint, I don't think Poland is so great. There are areas in Poland where they do have dedicated bike paths and they're connected well with each other and you can go for very long distances. But in general, the cities and the towns and stuff are not very well connected with bike paths. You might be on a bike path for 100 meters, that's amazing, and then all of a sudden it just disappears. And then a short distance down the road, there's a dirt bike track on the side of the road, which is great, and then it just completely disappears again. So I think that in a few years from now, 5 years, 10 years, something like that, Poland's going to be an amazing bicycle touring destination once they start to invest a little bit more in their infrastructure. And once they start to connect all of the existing bicycle paths that they currently have. That's basically, I think, what needs to happen in Poland is they just simply need to connect all of the broken paths that are currently there, put them together, and they'll have something amazing. Darren, how come you've never gotten into ultralight bicycle touring? Well, I've done some, to be honest, but part of the reason I'm not into ultralight bicycle touring is because I am running a business around bicycle touring. I am carrying oftentimes with me 5 cameras, a tripod, a drone, a laptop computer, 2 hard drives, and I'm carrying all that stuff because I am a one-man video production team. And I don't have a cameraman with me. I don't have any, you know, I'm doing all the editing myself. And so I have to carry all that stuff. And I'm oftentimes traveling for months and months on end. I don't do short weekend style bike tours very often. I'm usually on the road for 3 months or more at a time. So that kind of rules out ultralight bicycle touring for me personally. But I actually do help people conduct their own ultralight bicycle touring trips all the time, and that's one of the things that I've tried to do at bicycletouringpro.com is to show people the different types of bicycle tours that do exist, because oftentimes you'll see me doing like a loaded bicycle tour where I have my touring bike and all these big bags on my bike, and my bike weighs, you know, close to 100 pounds of food and water in it, and all the electronics I'm carrying. but that's not necessarily what I recommend for everyone. In fact, like one of my most popular articles on the Bicycle Touring Pro website and one of my most popular videos on the Bicycle Touring Pro YouTube channel is all about ultralight bicycle touring and how to carry just a small amount of gear. So that is actually something that I have done. I just don't do a lot of it personally because I am carrying all of this equipment that I need to carry with me in order to make the videos for the Bicycle Touring Pro YouTube channel. Yeah. One thing I should say about the whole ultralight bike touring thing is that bikepacking, which is generally like an off-road sort of mode of bicycle touring, bikepacking has become really popular in the last few years. And this is a type of ultralight bicycle touring, although some people really load down their bikes with what I think is too much stuff. But a lot of these bike packers are really traveling very long distances with very light packs. You know, some of them are not even carrying a tent; they're just carrying a tarp or something that they sleep on the ground with. So they're traveling really, really light. That, of course, is not something that everybody wants to do. Not everybody wants to have such a hard and difficult bike trip. They want to have some comfort at the end of the day. And so that's why camping or staying in hotels and that sort of thing is still very popular amongst a lot of bicycle tourists. Michael, hey, there's Michael from Sweden, says a bit late to the party, but congratulations, Darren. Yeah, Michael is one of the people that joined me this summer on a bike tour. We rode our bikes from Prague in the Czech Republic down to Vienna in Austria, and you'll see him in one of my, or several of my upcoming videos. So Hassan has said, have you considered riding a recumbent tricycle or trike? And the answer is I've considered everything. People say, have you ever considered going to, you know, Mongolia? Yeah, I've considered it. You know, have you considered going to Madagascar? Yes, I've considered it. Have you considered going to Antarctica? Yes, I've considered it. Have I considered riding a trike? Yes, I've considered it. If somebody sent me a trike, I would use it on a trip. I may not use it for a whole year or something like that, but I would at least do a week-long bike tour on something like that just to try it out and just to share the experience with you guys here on the Bicycle Touring Pro YouTube channel. So yeah, I've considered it. I've considered doing a unicycle tour and a recumbent tour and a tandem tour. In fact, I am going to be doing a tandem bicycle tour at some point in the near future. I'm looking for my partner. If you know somebody that wants to come with me on the back of a tricycle, or on the back of a tandem, I should say, get in touch. Trolley Trawler says, did you wild camp when in Romania? If so, what about bears? Yes, I have wild camped in almost all of the countries that I have been to, and including Africa and Romania and Iceland and the UK and everywhere. And yeah, what about bears? Well, bears are a possibility in a lot of places, not just in Romania. But I wasn't too concerned about bears in Romania, to be honest. I was more concerned about people just wandering around in the forest and finding me camped out in the forest. And that's usually my fear anytime I'm wild camping, is not so much about wild animals, although that's certainly something I think about. And you probably know that if you've watched any of my past videos, that I do mention bears and mountain lions and raccoons and deer, and I actually captured on video some animals coming up to my tent in the middle of the night and that sort of a thing. So yeah, it's something I think about, but I've never actually encountered a bear on any of my bike tours. I have seen bears. I've seen 3 bears, but never really on a bike tour, to be honest. The one bear that I did see was in Romania. It was a baby bear, and it was dead. It had been hit by a car and was on the side of the road, just keeled over in the gutter, basically. So that's the only bear I've ever seen. And obviously, when you see a dead bear on the side of the road, you start to think about bears afterwards, and the fact that, okay, that's a baby bear, and that probably means that mama bear is somewhere around nearby. So it was definitely on my mind, but like I said, not something that I was super concerned about at the time. Ash fan says, could you do a tour around England, as some of the views in the Lake District are beautiful? Yeah, a lot of people have been asking me if I've ever done a bike tour in the UK, and that's a good question because I don't actually have any videos from my UK bike tours on the Bicycle Touring Pro YouTube channel. I've done 2 bike tours across the United Kingdom and England and Wales. I've never been to Scotland, and that's really where I want to go. I've been to Ireland, spent about a month there, and I don't have any videos from that. But I would like to go back to the UK at some point, and especially to Scotland, and do a bike trip there at some point in the future. That's one of the parts of the world that I really, really want to go to. Sadly, I don't have videos from that part of the world because I did my bike tour there at a time before I was making videos. As I said earlier, I have had my Bicycle Touring Pro YouTube channel since 2007, and I've been bicycle touring all around the world since 2001. And in those 18 years or so, I've really only been making videos for the Bicycle Touring Pro YouTube channel for about the last 3 years, maybe going on 4 years now. So there's basically like 14 or 15 years of bicycle touring experiences that I have had personally that have not been captured on video. And that makes me really sad because I wish I could go back and make videos from the 15 years of bicycle touring experiences that I've had in Asia and Africa and North America, in the UK and South America, all around the world. I've had tons of bicycle touring experiences, and at the time I wasn't making any videos, and now I'm kicking myself. I do have photos from a lot of those trips, but even a lot of my early bike tours, especially the ones I did in the United States, I didn't really take very many photos on my early bike tours either. And why wasn't I taking photos? Why wasn't I shooting videos? It has largely to do with technology. Technology has just advanced so much in the last few years that I am now capable of carrying 3 months worth of video on, you know, a tiny little SD card. Whereas before, when I shot, like in 2003, I rode my bike for 3 months up the coast of the United States of America. And at the time I was shooting on a, I can't even remember what the technology was called, but it was a video camera, and I had to put tapes in it, you know, tapes and mini DV tapes. That's what it was. And at the end of the trip, and each tape held about an hour's worth of video. So I had all these little tapes. And by the end of the tour, 3 months, I had a whole shoebox filled with videotapes. And that's how, and it weighed like 20 pounds. It was heavy, really heavy, you know? And so the technology has just advanced so much to whereas like now I could shoot the whole bike tour practically on my phone, and this is all the room that it would take up if I wanted to. Of course, I use different cameras. I have 5 different cameras that I use on my bike tours. But it's just amazing how the technology has advanced, and that's why I'm producing so much more content, videos, photos, etc. now than I ever have been in the past. Ash fan says, has anyone ever caught you wild camping and woken you up? No, the answer is no. People, I think, have seen me camping. Like there's been times, I'm trying to think of one. I was in Ireland, for example, and I was camped out just in the forest somewhere. And some people like walked by, and my tent was like right by the side of the road, basically. So I wasn't necessarily trying to hide per se. I was just like, hey, I'm camping here, so what? And they saw me, and I just kind of waved at them, and they just kept hiking, you know what I mean? But they didn't like call the police or be like, what are you doing out here? And so I knew that I wouldn't get in trouble camping there just because of the nature of where I was. And that's a big part of wild camping, is like you have to kind of know what's okay and what's not. Like here in the United States, there are no trespassing signs all over the freaking place. And so if you see one of those signs, it's probably not a good idea to wild camp in a place where there's a big no trespassing sign. But when you go to a lot of other countries, those signs disappear, and it's not that uncommon per se to see somebody just camping on your property, and those people don't necessarily go out with a gun and try to shoot the person camping on their land. They go out and give them food or ask how they're doing. So yeah, it just depends on where you are in the world. But no, I've never been caught wild camping, and that's part of actually one of my strategies too, is like, if I am going to camp in an area where maybe it's not allowed, where I'm not allowed to camp, or it's not, you know, maybe a good idea to camp, my strategy for camping is camp in a place where I know that I'm not going to be discovered. And so I've done that a lot of times, where I've gone way out of my way to camp in a place where there's no freaking way anybody would ever discover me, crawling, pushing my bike through bushes or up a big hill just to get to a place where I know that I'm not going to be disturbed. So hope that answers your question. Herbivore Nation says, have you thought about making a collage video going through your old footage or photos? I think a lot of people would find that interesting. Yeah, I've definitely thought about that. And the reason I haven't done it is simply time. It's just like putting together all my current videos takes a lot of time, and putting together a video from all of the footage that I've shot over the course of years would take me a huge amount of time to go back and find the best footage. It would just take so much time. And so I just haven't had time to do it. It's something I want to do, and I will probably do at some point in the future, but I just haven't found the time yet. I don't know. I'm going back and reading your questions. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to go live here to say thank you for helping me reach the 50,000 subscriber mark. We're up above that now. We're at 50,005 subscribers. They're slowly trickling in. But if you know somebody that would enjoy bicycle touring, or would even enjoy just watching my videos on the Bicycle Touring Pro YouTube channel, I would really appreciate it if you shared the Bicycle Touring Pro YouTube channel with them. I think that might be one of the best ways to introduce people to bicycle touring, rather than sending them to my website or to one of my blog posts where I have photos and stuff. I think video is a great way of capturing the bicycle touring experience, and I think that's why a lot of you have resonated with the Bicycle Touring Pro videos that I have released, is because video is such a great storytelling tool. And I've really enjoyed creating these videos, these 550 videos or whatever it's at now, over the last 3 or 4 years, because I enjoy telling the story, and I enjoy sharing the adventure with you, and I also enjoy hearing from people like you that you've watched my videos, you've taken some of the, maybe you've gotten one of my books about bicycle touring, and you've taken the steps necessary to go out and conduct your own bicycle touring adventures somewhere in the world. That's what I really enjoy, is getting these testimonials from you guys saying, hey, I watched your videos, I went out, I got a bike, I got some camping gear, and I did a bike trip. Whether it was 2 days or 2 months or 2 years, I love hearing about your guys' stories. So please, if you do go on a bike tour, please keep me in mind and let me know afterwards, or once you're out on the road. Send me a photo on Instagram, tag me in the photo, message me on the Bicycle Touring Pro Facebook page. You can even contact me through the website at bicycletouringpro.com. There's a contact form there. Send me a message and just tell me about your trip, attach a photo. I would really love to hear more about you guys and the adventures that you are having. I'm looking at your Facebook comments over here. Josh says, thank you for inspiring us. Live our dreams, Darren. My dad says, 50,000 subscribers. That's tremendous. Congrats. Clive says, I'm on a 3-day tour to London now. Hope to meet up with you in 2009 in Europe somewhere. That would be awesome, Clive. Gert says, next stop, 100,000 subscribers. That's right. And like I said, I'd like to get to 100,000 subscribers sometime in the next year. That is my big goal for the Bicycle Touring Pro YouTube channel. So if you can help me do that, I would really appreciate it. I'd really appreciate it. If you have friends, family members, coworkers, loved ones that you think would enjoy bicycle touring or just simply watching the Bicycle Touring Pro videos that I've created, I would really love it if you would share my channel with them. Chad says, what do you think about a roll-off hub for touring? Yeah, well, roll-off, it's hard to explain, but if people don't know what a roll-off hub is, it's a hub that, I don't know, it's hard to explain on, you should Google it, but it's basically, there are gears inside of the hub that allow you to change gears, and it's very similar to the pinion gearbox that I have on my touring bicycle. So both of those are really, really popular right now. I honestly think the pinion gearbox is better than the roll-off hub, in large part because both of these internal gearing mechanisms are heavy, and the roll-off hub puts all of the weight in the back of your bicycle, so it makes your rear wheel really, really heavy. The pinion gearbox, which is what I have on my CoMotion Cycles Siskiyou touring bicycle that I've been using for the last 2 months or 3 months in Europe, is all of the weight from that gearbox is in the center of the bicycle. So when you pick up the bike, it feels like a normal bicycle. It doesn't feel off weight. And that's what I like about the pinion over the roll-off hub. Both of those options are pretty expensive, but I do think we're going to see more and more of those in the future as the prices of those hubs and gearboxes come down. I think more and more people are going to be using them, because the great thing about a roll-off hub and the great thing about a pinion gearbox versus the regular metal chain and derailleur system that we're used to seeing on so many bicycles is the fact that they are practically maintenance-free. The pinion gearbox that I have on my CoMotion Cycles Siskiyou touring bicycle is so maintenance-free that all you do every once in a while is wipe it down with a towel and water, and that's all you have to do, versus your chain, which you have to lube all the time and clean all the grime off of there on a regular basis. You're constantly getting your leg all dirty. The chain can break very easily. All of that kind of stuff. It can rust. None of that happens with the pinion gearbox like I have on my CoMotion bicycle. So yeah, roll-off hubs are great. I think the pinion gearbox is even better. And if you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, just go to bicycletouringpro.com and type in pinion in the search box. It's P-I-N-I-O-N, pinion. And I have a ton of information about this. You can see kind of some photos and videos of how it works, but really, really cool. Paul says, hey, Darren, I did my first mini tour last weekend, and it was your voice in the back of my head inspiring me to get out the door. It really was the toughest part. Thank you. Yeah. That is the thing about bicycle touring, and I've said it like so many times because it's still true for me as well. I think the hardest part about bicycle touring is simply getting out your front door and starting. You know, a lot of people spend so much time dreaming about the bike tour, but they never actually take the steps to go out and do it. And I hear from people a lot of times where they're like, I want to do a bike tour in 2023 or something like that. I'm like, what the heck? Why 5 years from now? You know what I mean? Why not do it this year? Because in reality, all you need to get started with bicycle touring is a bike, some way to carry your gear, and a destination. I started bicycle touring from my home. This room that I'm in right now is actually my childhood bedroom. I'm at my parents' house right now. This is the room I grew up in. And this is where I started bicycle touring when I was 17 years old. And what I would do is I borrowed my dad's old mountain bike. It was just a piece of shit bike that was out in the garage that he wasn't riding. And I grabbed this bike. I figured out a way to carry some gear on it, you know, attach a rear rack and two rear panniers. And I would ride from here about 20, 30 miles down the coast. We're in California, so I'd go down the coastline, and there's a campground nearby, a state campground. So I'd ride down there, I'd camp at the campground for the night, and then the next day I would ride back to my parents' house. And that was my first bike tour. And it was very, very easy to get started, and it cost me very little. All I had to do was borrow my dad's bike, I bought the rear rack, which at the time cost, I think, like $40. So $40, and then I borrowed the pannier bags from my uncle, who just happened to have them because he had done a bike tour previously in Ireland. So everything that I needed to get started cost like $40. And I think honestly, that's how a lot of people can get started, yourself included. Like if I think people see me riding like the best bike out there and using the best tent and the best panniers, and they think that they have to go out and get all that stuff from the very beginning. But the truth is, you don't necessarily have to, and that's certainly not the way that I started. I started using really junky, cheap stuff, whatever I could find. I did my first tour. It was kind of hard because I wasn't using some of the best gear. My tent leaked, and you know, my bike had no brakes, but I made it, you know. And then the next year or 2 years later, when I did my another trip, I was like, okay, I'm getting a little more serious about bike touring. I really enjoyed my first 2 tours, but maybe now if I got a real bicycle, that would help me a lot. So then I put my money down and got my first real touring bicycle after 3 years of bike touring. The first 2 years I was riding a bicycle that was a complete hunk of junk and that had actually been run over by a car and was like, the frame was bent and the wheels were like, and that's what I rode because that's all I had. And that's all the money that I could afford was this recycled junk garage sale bike. But then I went out and got the bike. And then the next year after that, I went out and bought new panniers that were much higher quality, that didn't have holes in them and didn't fall off every time I went over a bump. And several years, and then I got a new tent, and then I got a new sleeping pad, and then I got a new sleeping bag, and then I got even better panniers after that were entirely waterproof. And so I've slowly built up my gear over the years, and I was definitely not one of those people who could afford to go out and buy all of this stuff brand new. Some people can, of course, and if you can afford to do that, you know, you can get everything you need for a bike tour brand new for probably less than $2,000, which for a lot of hobbies really is not that much. Like if you consider people that buy a motorcycle who want to do motorcycle touring, that could cost $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 just to get your bike set up, not to mention all the fees associated with getting your license and all that sort of thing. Or if maybe if you have a hobby of flying remote control airplanes, you could very easily spend $2,000 on a remote control airplane. So I do feel like bicycle touring is actually a cheap hobby or activity to get started with. Although I do realize that for some people, $2,000 to buy a bike and all the gear and stuff is a lot of money. And I know for me, when I first started, 17 years old, $2,000 would be a huge amount of money, an unbelievable amount of money. So I did what I could and just started with the gear that I had and slowly built up over time. But I went off on a rant there. My point was, I don't think that you should wait a super long time to go off on your first bike tour or even your next bike tour. I think that you should try to plan your bike trip as soon as possible. You know, one of the things I hear from my readers all the time is that like they wish that they could go bicycle touring, but that they have some sort of health condition that prevents them from doing it. A lot of people who do bike tours are 50 years old, 60 years old, 70 years old, even 80 years old. And so you want to make sure that you can do your bike tour when you are healthy and feeling good. You don't want to wait 5 years and then discover, oh no, now I don't feel good, and now I can't do that bike trip that I had been dreaming about. So anyways, okay, just looking at your comments here. Ashfan said, this is a funny question, hypothetical. He says, Ashfan says, would you rather have 1 million subs or go on a bike tour with a cyclist of your choice? Well, I think I would rather have both, frankly. But if I had to choose, yeah, I would probably choose to go on a bike tour with a cyclist of my choice. That's just my first thought, I guess. But obviously, like, I don't really I've never put like a lot of importance necessarily into the numbers. Like obviously I'm making a video right now called 50,000 subscribers, but in reality, I don't care so much about the number, because it's not like, if I was really just going out to make something that had a lot of subscribers, I wouldn't have picked bicycle touring. You know, if I wanted to do something that made me more money, I wouldn't have picked bicycle touring, because I do this bicycle touring thing because it's something that I'm passionate about, that I love to do. I like helping people. And so for me, it's not really about the numbers per se. And I imagine that once I got to 1 million subscribers, I would be just as happy about the 1 million subscribers as I am today about the 50,000 subscribers. So I think I would pick going on a bike tour with the cyclist of choice or person of choice, just because I think that's more of a meaningful experience than saying, like, I have 1 million subscribers or something. Like I said, like I just don't put a lot of importance on those sorts of numbers. I think it's great that people are following, and I really appreciate it, but I don't put any, like, I don't value myself more or something because I have 50,000 subscribers now, and last year I only had 25,000 or something. The same is true for like my distances that I've ridden on my bike tours. Like, I know a lot of people, like on their Instagram, they'll say like, I've ridden 100,000 miles or something like that. And that's great. Like, if they're motivated by that, awesome. I have never been one of those people. Like, I stopped keeping track of my distances that I cycle after about the 3rd year of my bicycle touring adventures, because I realized after about 3 years, I was like, shoot, I've ridden 10,000 miles already. And I just figured that, like, beyond that, most people don't care. I don't think most people care. If I told you, if I met you for the first time and I was like, hi, my name's Darren. I run this bicycle touring website where I travel all around the world, and I've ridden over 100,000 miles on my bicycle, you'd be like, wow, that's amazing. But now, imagine if I met you for the first time and I was like, hi, my name's Darren. I run this bicycle touring website. I've ridden my bike all around the world, and I've ridden 300,000 miles. Does the difference between 100,000 and 300,000, does that really like change your opinion of me that much? I don't think it does. I think it's just a big number. And so that's why, for me at least, I've never really been motivated to like keep track of my distances on a bike tour or something like that. Is because for me, it's just not, I don't like value myself more because I've ridden 300,000 or 500,000 miles. I just know that I've gone on a long trip and it was really long, you know? So that's just my personal viewpoint. But like I said, I know a lot of people get motivation from like saying like, okay, this year I'm going to ride 10,000 miles, and they work towards that as a goal. I think that's great. I just think it's kind of weird to be like announcing to the world, well, I've ridden 500,000 miles. Well, I've ridden 600,000 miles. Well, I've ridden 700,000. You know, that I think is just kind of stupid. So I don't do that. But I know other people get motivated from that. So do whatever you want to do. But anyways, that's my little rant on numbers and things like that. Oops. Trolley Trawler says, have you ever been knocked off your bike by a car or truck? No, in 18 years of bicycle touring, I've never been hit by a car or had anything like that happen. I have had a couple close calls. On my very first bike tour, I was going up like this really steep road in Northern California with switchbacks, and this RV, a big recreational vehicle, passed me very, very closely, so close that my elbow hit the side of the RV as it was going up, you know, the road. So that happened, which is, you know, once you make contact of any kind with a vehicle, that's a little scary. When I rode across Albania in 2009, I believe, and I was going through this really, really crowded intersection, and there was a police officer like waving people through the intersection from different directions. And he waved me through the intersection, and I went, and this motorcycle came from somewhere across the intersection and actually plowed right into the side of me. But we were going so slow, the motorcyclist and myself were going so slow that when he hit me, it did break one of my bicycle panniers, broke the mount and stuff off of it. But otherwise, no real damage was caused. It wasn't like I was laying on the ground afterwards. It was just like we kind of bumped into each other in the middle of the intersection, and then we're just like, what the heck? You're stupid. And then we went off in our own different directions. So those are the only two incidences that I can think of off the top of my mind where I've had run-ins with vehicles. But yeah, thankfully nothing has happened like that. Although I do hear horror stories from other cyclists sometimes, and I don't like hearing those stories. Hassan just donated 10 euros. Thank you, Hassan. That's really, really nice of you. Thank you so much. Speaking of donations, I've gotten quite a few donations just in the last week, which is atypical. I don't normally get a lot of donations, but I've gotten enough to where I've put together a donate page on the Bicycle Touring Pro website. It's just bicycletouringpro.com/donate. And I've put a link, if you're watching this video on YouTube, there's a link in the video description down below to where you can donate to Bicycle Touring Pro. And the donations that I receive, I put back towards creating more videos on the Bicycle Touring Pro YouTube channel. So any donation that you give helps me to, buy the camera equipment that I use, to buy the software that I use, to help me edit the videos, I pay for the music that I use in all of the videos. So all of that money goes back into helping me run Bicycle Touring Pro. And just this last week, I think I've received about 7 donations maybe, including the one from Hassan here. So it's not a huge part of, how I make my money at Bicycle Touring Pro, but it certainly does help. And I really do appreciate any donation that that you guys give. I've gotten donations for as little as $3 and for as much as $100 or more. So big or small, thank you very, very much. I know a lot of people, if you go to that donate page at bicycletouringpro.com/donate, you can donate on a monthly basis. So a lot of people are donating $5, $10, $25 a month. And that's just kind of automatically taken out of your account or whatever. And people see it as like, hey, I'm paying $5 to watch, 8 new videos from the Bicycle Touring Pro each month. That's a good deal for me. So if you're one of those people, thank you very much. I really, really appreciate every donation, big or small, that comes in. Andrew says, how do you know what roads or routes to use? How do you avoid major roads? Well, first of all, that is largely experience. I can look at a map and know which roads are big and which roads are small, and I avoid the big roads and go on the small roads. So that's part of it. But I also talk a great deal about this inside my video training course, which you can get at bicycletouringpro.com/video. And I've actually created, I think there's about at least a half dozen videos in there about how to map out a safe and enjoyable route. How I do that, how I use free tools like Google Earth, Google Maps, Google Street View, all of those things to like map out safe and enjoyable bike touring routes and kind of figure out which routes are going to be the best for me on any given bicycle tour. So there's a whole bunch of videos inside that course all about how to do that. But yeah, that's kind of the way that I do it. I also use, for the last few years, 5 years maybe, I've been using an app called Maps.me. It's an offline free mapping application that you get on your phone, and Maps.me, and it has a bicycle tool in there. And I use that as a rough guideline sometimes. It's not 100% perfect, but it will oftentimes tell you the best bicycle route to take from any point to another point. So that's another tool that you can use. But I should say that when you're using that, you need to have some common sense, because it'll oftentimes recommend, you're riding on a big highway or you're riding through some forest road that is ridiculously difficult when right next to it is like a perfectly good paved road that you could cycle on with no problem. So you have to use a little common sense when using that app, but those are some of the tools that I use to plan out my routes. Yeah. Happy Biker says, please discuss bike for touring. Well, I actually have tons of videos that I've already posted on Bicycle Touring Pro and on the Bicycle Touring Pro YouTube channel, all about what kind of bike you should be riding. So I recommend you go back and watch some of those. I've done webinars about the bikes for bicycle touring. I've written this book all about how to find the best bike for your bicycle touring adventures. This is a book called The Essential Guide to Touring Bicycles. And you can get it on my website at bicycletouringpro.com. You can also get it on touringbicyclebook.com. It's also on amazon.com. Once again, this is The Essential Guide to Touring Bicycles, and it's a book that teaches you what is a touring bicycle, what's the best kind of bike to ride on a bike tour, what makes a touring bicycle different from, you know, the mountain bikes and road bikes that you're used to, that sort of thing. This book is only $12.95, so it's a really cheap book. But I think before you go out and spend, you know, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 on a bicycle, it's a good idea to read this $12 book so that you know what kind of bike you want to get and which bike is going to be best for you. You don't necessarily want to walk into your local bike shop and say, I want a touring bicycle, and they give you the only bike that they have on the you know, in the shop. That's generally not a good idea. And I've heard about people that do that. They're sold a bike that's not actually a touring bicycle, and then they try to go on a bike tour and fail because their bike was not designed for bicycle touring. Don't do that. Read this book first, and then go out and find the bike that's going to be best for you. Russ over here on Facebook says, how often do you snack when touring? The honest answer is I snack all the time, and I probably don't show that enough on my videos that you see on the Bicycle Touring Pro YouTube channel. But I am generally eating something like all the time when I'm on my bike. Nuts like peanuts or almonds or cashews, that sort of thing. I'm eating like, what else? Like dried fruit, crackers, cookies, fruit, bananas, apples, that kind of thing. Those are the snack foods that I eat while I'm out there on the road. And then I usually don't stop and have a big lunch. Like I just snack all day long while I'm cycling. And then at the end of the day, that's when I have my big meal. I know other people, they like to stop in the middle of the day and have a big lunch or whatever. I don't do that usually, but it depends on who you are and what you want to do and where you are and that kind of a thing. So anyways, guys, I'm getting tired. I should probably go, but thank you. We've passed the 50,000 subscriber mark. And I look forward to sharing my new bicycle touring videos with you. I've got a whole bunch of new ones coming up soon. So stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed to the Bicycle Touring Pro YouTube channel. Make sure you click the bell next to the subscribe button. That way you'll be alerted of new videos each and every time they are released. You'll get an email every time a new video comes out. And that way you won't miss any of the videos that I publish. So thank you guys so much for watching and being a part of my special day here, the 50,000 subscriber day. I hope you guys have a good weekend, and I will talk to you later. Thanks so much, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Auf Wiedersehen. Do widzenia. Adios. Ciao. Okay. See you guys on Facebook. All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.